Hello everyone, welcome to another battle report. This battle was played on the ladder and it was me as Chaos versus Ulrich Rahl's Vampire Coast. Ulrich Rahl, great Bretonia player, definitely one of the best. I was a bit surprised to see him playing Coast, but of course it's only a ladder game and he was probably trying some stuff out. So my army is really dumb. I was on stream and I was saying how I did not expect this to work. If you look at it, why would you expect it to work, right? It's just infantry spam. It's 5 Forsaken and it's a bunch of Chaos Marauders, 5 of them, and also 5 Chaos Warriors. There's also one Chosen right here, as you can see. Just straight up infantry spam with the big bird, Lord of the KFC, Sartorial, the Everwatcher. This guy, you probably know this, but in case you don't, he has 50% missile resistance, 25% magic resistance, but mostly the missile resistance is very good, of course, for keeping him alive against the coast. It doesn't make him invulnerable against getting shot, but 50% reduction is about as good as you can get in the Chaos roster, especially with this huge hit point pool, 6,000. He's also unbreakable and his combat animations allow him to fly from one infantry unit to another. Ghost typically doesn't have the most mass units that can intercept him and stop him, so that should be good. And then the Searing Doom is just one cheap spell that I'm going to use to try and mostly target gunnery mobs while they're shooting. Because they're not really fast enough to dodge, and if they're shooting then they're animation locked. So if they try to dodge, they probably won't be able to dodge and they will stop them from shooting. And it's a cheap spell, so even if it misses, it's not a huge problem. So Ulrich Rahl with the coast, he has a more varied army than I do. It's kind of difficult not to. He has 2 depth cards, they got buffed last patch. He has deckhand mobs, 4 of them, armor piercing, I guess decent defensive stats. Just there to hold a little bit though. And some gunnery mobs. Not a lot of range, but good missile damage. Not so much against shields and armor though, but still not to be underestimated. And yeah, your deckhand mobs, and then I think the most important unit for him is the gunnery mobs with bombs. Which got nerfed a little bit, but they can still kill infantry, and that's what he's going to have to do. Another element of the army are these animated hulks. I'm glad these things are finally seeing some play. They're the ugliest unit in the game, in my opinion, and they're quite useful as well for Coast because it's relatively cheap and it gives them some mass, so these guys might be able to stop Sartorial. Other than that, I don't really have mass, but they are, well, armor piercing, supposedly anti-infantry, so they should be able to do some damage here against all that infantry. And there's also Count Noctilus. And yeah, this guy, I mean, is he one of the best lords in the game or what? 2 summons, Raid Storm, which I guess in this army doesn't have the greatest targets, but still. Arcane Conduit, Invocation of the Heck, Drowned Dead, and Abandoned Ship, and extra powder. So I'm showing this battle mostly because someone told me, or a couple people were raising this, that Chaos by, you know, straight infantry spamming can actually defeat the coast. And I wanted to kind of see that. So Forsaken, Ulrich was doing a good thing here. He shot him in the flank, which completely wrecked this unit before it was able to do anything. But you can see I adjust the formation. If you're getting shot from the side, then adjust your formation like this so the shots pass through fewer models. What I'm doing there, but I should have done it sooner because Noctilus, yeah, he got 31 kills already, and that was mostly on Forsaken. So this map, we don't use it in multiplayer because if you look at it, there's like a slight high ground advantage for the people on this side, so that's something I'm going to have to fight against. Sartorial gets a good Searing Doom here, takes out some of these bombers and drops their hit points quite low. And yeah, the lines are engaging, and of course in a melee engagement, Chaos Warriors should be able to really wreck all of these zombies. So it's really up to the ranged units to do the damage, and you can see the this guy could have maybe started throwing a little bit earlier. But yeah, this one is sort of moving into position, but yeah, some of the Chaos Warriors have adopted sausage formation and were able to sneak through. I guess it is kind of difficult to stop this many units at the same time when you have ranged units. Of course, this deployment is making it so that I can't just run through everywhere, and he set up some really good crossfire here, which is really dealing with these Forsaken. You can see they're able to shoot even over the hill. Now the summon comes in, helps out this unit. Chaos Marauders get stopped, another shot on the Forsaken, they're almost routed, and you can see the back line is pretty safe for Ulrich here. Bombardment comes in on the Chaos Warriors. He's not putting it in Sartorial because, of course, Sartorial maybe jump out of the way, although it kind of has tracking, so, you know, it can be sort of difficult to dodge even if you are trying, but it was a safer play to put it on the Chaos Warriors. Sartorial, I'm just trying to cause as much disruption with him as possible. Also, I made a huge error here. These Forsaken I was moving across earlier are now on this side. Now the reason I moved them across is because I didn't want to attack through this side. Ulrich is not too close to the line, but if my units pass around this side and get shot or routed, then they're just gonna route right off the map, and I don't want that. So that's causing these Forsaken to, yeah, to arrive very late to the battle. And at this point, you can see the balance of power is slightly in his favor, I would say, and it's never a good time against Ghost when the balance of power is like in the middle or slightly in their favor, because they have healing, I don't. They have summons, I don't. But on the other hand, Chaos Warriors, well, they break as I say it, but I have been able to compromise quite a few of the ranged units. And once it comes down to a pure melee brawl, I'm not super concerned. Because, well, Chaos troops are better in melee, obviously. These guys are getting killed as well by the Forsaken. Look. Just chop them up, boys. Forsaken are so glorious. Definitely one of the coolest units in the game, if you ask me. The angry tentacle men. And here come the animated hulks. Oh my god. One thing you gotta say about the Warhammer universe is just the sheer insanity of the unit designs. Which is a good thing, of course. Those guys get sent flying. So, on this flank now, with the arrival of the Forsaken that were, let's call it, in tactical reserve, I'm starting to push in. There's still a free deckhand mob here. This gunnery mob somewhat obstructed. I guess it could have been shooting over here, but it was trying to shoot over here and it got obstructed. Yeah, Sartorial is just doing a good job. He's up to 138 kills, flying around. Now, one thing about Sartorial is he's not the greatest fighter, so if there had been, I don't know, Luther or something, I think he would not have, you know, had a good time like this. Or even a Crab, something like that. Probably deal with his build pretty well. And I think typically people would bring halberds in this build as well. These depth guard, they do look cool, don't they? They kind of have that TIE pilot aesthetic to them. Look at them. Maybe that's a weird comparison, but I think it holds true. So yeah, Noctilus, once he gets caught in melee, not the greatest combatant, not the worst either. I mean, 46 melee attack, 412 weapon strength, but kind of low armor. Very low melee defense. I'm still not sure whether his combat animations are good. I think they look a lot better than they actually are. He shoots the cannon in melee. It just doesn't seem to do much. Look at this unit. Like, he just fired a shot point blank into them and they didn't take much damage. Yeah, and Ulrich is gonna retreat there. So, the weird infantry spam actually worked. And the weird thing is though, these units, if you look at them, this Forsaken did, but most units did not get great value. They didn't get awful value, like this Chaos Warrior got good value. These ones, like, just barely or not at all. The Marauders, again, just barely or not at all. And then Sartorial, he got, you know, pretty good value, but again, nothing too crazy. So I'm not totally sure how that works out. Like, how can they all get so little value and, you know, still win? I wouldn't say decisively, but still with decent amount of stuff on the field. I mean, maybe it's because Ulrich pulled out before everything died, but then again, so the Depth Guard did really well. And the animated Hulks, not so much. They didn't have much to do. Noctilus, he did really well. He was able to spend most of his ammo, including an amazing shot there. But I think the bombers getting compromised was definitely a problem there. And also getting firing angles. I mean, Ulrich did what he could with his gunnery mobs, but getting the right firing angles with your gunnery mobs, well, the handguns and the pistols. For the bombs, it's no problem, but with these ones, it's kind of difficult to get the right firing angles, especially with this much infantry rushing you. So I still wouldn't recommend this. I think against, you know, maybe more experienced Ghost player who can also focus Sartorial, knows how to kill him. Not really going to work. Crabs could be a counter, multiple flyers could be a counter. Like, I can think of a lot of things Ghost could do to deal with this type of army, but it worked this time, and that was kind of surprising to me because I didn't think it would work at all. So that was pretty interesting. Hope you liked it too. Thanks for watching. For more content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later.